Good evening and welcome to another episode of Second Chance. This evening my guests will be Ms. Candace Whiteside and Harold Jackson of Gang of One. Sit back, grab yourself a paper and a pencil and enjoy the show. We'll be back. Thank you.
Lord, forgive me like only you can. For your love,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Second Chance. This evening my guests will be Ms. Candace Whiteside, the intervention manager, and Harold Jackson, the educational specialist for the Gang of One. How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
Well,
Okay, we're
thank
going to start you with you, Ms. Whiteside. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. Yes, I am a licensed clinical social worker, a native of Charlotte. I worked in the mental health field for 10 years with children and adolescents before I came to work with Gang of One about a year and a half ago.
Okay. And yourself, Jackson?
I'm a retired homicide and gang detective with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. After retiring, I came back to work part-time with the program Gang of One.
Okay, that's great. Okay, now let's get started with this. What is the Gang of One?
Okay. After years of documenting gang activity here in Charlotte, in August of 2003, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department started a gang intelligence unit. About 6 months later, in February of 2004, we started an initiative called Gang of One. What happened is we realized that we could not arrest away gang problems. We needed, it was more than just a police problem. Gangs is a social problem because of, if you look at all the different reasons why our youth get involved with gangs. So we started Gang of One, and that is to work with youth and their families through prevention and intervention by having a network of local resources where our youth can make contact with those resources to help them with gang issues.
Why do you join gangs, in your opinion?
Why you
You know,
join
that-
gangs?
why- I mean, that's, that should be a very big question. That we should-
It
as a
is.
parent.
It is a very big question. That's why I personally look at gangs as a social issue because there are many different reasons. Peer pressure. A lot of kids are joined because of peer pressure. Finances. If you join a gang, you will make money. If you look at the state law, the definition of a gang, 3 or more people that's involved in ongoing criminal activity. Ongoing criminal activity. So if it's 3 or more people that's involved in ongoing criminal activity, then you're more likely to make money.
Okay.
It might be short-lived,
Correct.
but you will make money. It could be family problem. It might be issues going on in the household where that young person decide that they're going to get another family, and that could be that gang family. It could be protection. Maybe that kid lived in a certain neighborhood where gangs dominate that neighborhood, and maybe they are afraid to walk to school or go to the store, so they might join a gang for protection.
Are there youth involved in gangs in our community, Charlotte-Mecklenburg community?
Yes. Yes, we document, we have documented gang members here in Charlotte. I think we have over 2,000 documented gang members here in Charlotte.
Okay, so as a youth, how would I be able to get out of a gang? Because that's very important. I mean, it's probably easy to get into one, but it may be kind of hard getting out. How would me as a youth get out of a gang?
I think that a lot of the same things that we talk about preventing youth from getting in a gang are also some of the things that we have to do for youth to get out of a gang. It is possible to get out of a gang. Youth are involved at different levels, and so we have to look at each situation individually. For some youth, they may not be as far in,
Correct.
as involved, and so for some of those youth, we can put in where they are not in the same places, not the same, different neighborhoods, different areas, not hanging out with the same group of kids. At the same time, we need to replace the time that they were spending with the gang with positive activities, depending on the youth and what their interests are. Depending on how involved a youth is, the more difficult it is to get out, and it can be a very serious matter, but it is possible. Occasionally, people need to look at, do we need to relocate? Do we need to move to a different area? It just depends on the level of involvement in that particular youth situation.
Excuse me,
Go ahead, sir.
And here in Charlotte, our gangs are not like the gangs of Chicago or the gangs of L.A. or New York. Gangs is fairly new to the southeastern part of the United States. And so they're not that established yet in our neighborhoods or schools. Are they here? Yes. Are they committing crime? Are they doing bad things? Yes. But are they as organized as they are like the Bloods and Crips of L.A.? No, they are not. So at this time, we can take that opportunity to assist young people and to disassociating with gangs, without fear of retaliation.
Okay, what are the signs that me as a parent or teachers who see the kids on a regular basis, what are some of the signs that we can tell that our child or that child is in a gang?
Well, as far as science go, you have to, first of all, you have to know your child or know your student. We have a lot of young people that might mimic gangs but are not really in a gang. But the sad thing about that is they are mimicking gangs and they are not really part of a gang, then their life is just in worse danger if they are in a gang, because it's a term they call false claiming. Okay. So I'll use the Crips or the Blood for example. If I was mimicking a Crip or a Blood gang member, then that would be showing disrespect towards their gang. So not only would they be out to get me, the rival gangs would be out to get me too. That's why we try to encourage young people, do not try to mimic gangs. As far as telltale signs, it could be from anything from the clothing that they wear, or your child is not taking American Sign Language, right?
Correct.
But yet you see them throwing up hand signs. They might all of a sudden like one color. They might all of a sudden come up with a nickname from out of nowhere. And usually people get nicknames behind something that they do. It could be drawing group symbols and graffiti. If you see strange writings or strange symbols that they might be drawing, on the clothing, on the walls, on paper, then that could be a telltale sign. I would encourage, everybody to try to get gang awareness and recognition training. It will not make you a gang expert, but it will open your eyes to things to look for. And that training can be provided through the Gang of One.
Okay, I noticed that a lot of the youth, they have these bandanas in their back pocket. What is that? I mean, is that a symbol of something? I mean, because I see that a lot.
Well, yes, gangs uses bandanas to they call them flags, and they use them, the colors of them, to represent their gang. Like Bloods are red, Crips are blue. But then you have hybrid gangs also. Neighborhood, a group of youth might develop their own gang. They might come up with their own color. So, but bandanas alone do not indicate that a youth is a gang member. Mm-hmm. It's a totality of points that you have to put together before you can classify that youth as a gangbanger. But however, we want to stop that behavior before it get to that point.
Okay, I know you get a lot of calls into your hotline. Well, you do have a hotline. So what type of calls do you normally get in, to the
hotline. I can
Correct.
address that. We do have a hotline. Our Gang of One hotline is available 24/7 with bilingual volunteers who answer our hotline to be able to speak English and Spanish. We get a variety of calls into our hotline. Last year in 2009, we received 614 calls. They fall into different categories. Some of those calls are youth at risk, where a parent or a teacher or a concerned citizen has called in about a specific youth, and they are concerned about that youth being in a gang. There are also referrals that we receive or calls we receive about youth that are in gangs and that have expressed an interest, either themselves or their family, in working with Gang of One to disassociate with that gang. Some of the calls we receive are information or tips that citizens are sharing, and what we do at Gang of One is make sure that we pass that along to the appropriate, to our gang unit or the appropriate department within the police department. We get calls about graffiti, and we pass that along to our 311 and to our city, but about graffiti and concerns that it's gang graffiti and how to get that removed. We get a lot of requests for education, as Mr. Jackson spoke about. Part of what all of us in the community can do is help educate ourselves. Again, you won't become a gang expert, but you can start to know some of the signs and symbols. And so we get lots of requests, and we fill those requests for adult education as well as youth awareness presentations in the community, and those are provided for free.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now, and when we get back, we'll talk some more about your educational program.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Second Chance. Thank you.
You done for my gang or what?
Nah, I'm good, man.
Man, you don't know what you missing out on.
Yeah, I do. That's in jail.
Man, whatever, that money.
And when you get money, people gonna be looking for you. You're either gonna get sent to jail, you're gonna get killed. How will your family feel when they find out you're dead or you're in jail?
My family don't love me.
The gang doesn't know you. They'll be there when you got jail or something, but not when you're dying.
Man, whatever, you talking nonsense. Gangs is the best.
Yeah, we'll see 10 years later when I'm a doctor and you get shot.
Whatever. I'm out of here.
Man, I do not want to go to school today.
I know, right?
Let's hang out with the gangbangers. They always have a good time.
I know, right?
What? Stand up. Speak out against gang violence and truancy.
Welcome back to Second Chance with the Gang of One. Getting back to the educational program, what type of educational program do you offer with Gang of One?
Specifically, Gang of One has actually adopted what's called the OJJDP, which stands for Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, Comprehensive Gang Model. And this is a research-based best practice model where other communities throughout the country have shown success at dealing with gangs. And what the model shows us is that we have to look at our gang problem across a variety of levels. You have to look at prevention, intervention, suppression if need be, and that's by the police department, and also reentry. When folks do commit crimes, gang-involved crimes, they serve their time, they re-enter back into our community, and how to offer them second chances.
Okay.
Specifically, education and our prevention programs are, as I mentioned before, we offer an adult awareness training. That's an hour training, and it's kind of Gangs 101. Retired Detective Jackson is our primary educator and he brings a wealth of experience and knowledge, and he goes out to communities and lets folks know what to be aware of, what are the trends, what are the signs. We also offer a youth resistance gang training where we specifically talk with youth. We do that in schools and church groups regarding ways to stay away from gangs, ways to resist gang pressure, and ways and resources to look for if they are being pressured to join a gang. Other programs that we offer include our DIG program, which is Dangers Involved with Gangs, and that is a 4-hour prevention program that we implement in 5th grade in CMS schools. And our officers go in and teach that curriculum, and it provides elementary school kids problem-solving skills and awareness of the skills that they need to stay away from gangs. A lot of times people will ask 5th grade, you know, that seems very early, but we have found that truly when you talk to kids, kids are aware, even as young as 5th grade, even younger, of they've been aware of, they've seen in their communities, or they've heard of gangs to more or less extent. And so the earlier our prevention and intervention, the better. We also offer a program called No Easy Walk, which is an outdoor leadership program that we implement in middle school, and it's peer leadership. And again, helping young people have the skills, the problem-solving skills, positive activities to belong to, a positive group to be a part of. And our final kind of prevention program that we're working with right now is called Racing to Inspire, Stimulate, and Educate, RISE. And that is actually a program that we implement in the high schools, and it's an innovative approach where the kids that are part of that program get to learn with our NASCAR industry. NASCAR is a big industry,
Correct.
so they add science and math education and get some hands-on training, again looking at vocational options, helping youth see other options that may be available to them, so we don't have to think about making money or from a criminal element or a gang element.
Okay, as far as a parent wanting to get more information about an educational pertaining to a gang, how would I go about getting that information, or do you have certain areas where you provide that training for the parents?
Yes, we have a website address, and we also have, they can contact the hotline number, 704-432-GANG, G-A-N-G. And we have a hotline person that will return that telephone call and set up a training, providing the date and time is available.
Okay, and what's your website?
It's www.gangofonecharlotte.org.
Okay.
So
What's the new initiative that the Gang of One is implementing to work with youth involved in the gang?
we're really excited about our new initiative. Part of what we talked about just before was our education and prevention programs. There are youth that, as we have said, in our community that are gang involved. And our new initiative that we are starting is our Gang Reentry and Intervention Team, GRIT. We like we like acronyms. But we will specifically, we have 2 case managers that are coming on board that will be working specifically with youth that have been sent to juvenile detention centers that are returning to Mecklenburg County, who are gang involved or have had history of gang involvement, and helping them re-enter the community, get hooked back into school, positive activities, learning the skills, reinforcing the problem-solving skills and the services that they received while they were at the youth detention center, and being able to translate that into now coming back into the community. We will also serve kids that are youth that are involved in the juvenile justice system, that they may they have committed some criminal offense and have or gang involved or have history of gang involvement, and work directly with those youth and their families. That's the key piece. We have to work with youth and families to make different choices, provide different opportunities, and to support those youth in, you know, everyone makes mistakes. You have an opportunity again to have a second chance, but being able to look at a variety of options for that youth to give them the best opportunity at a second chance. So we are excited about our GRIT team.
That's great. Okay, if I'm, as a youth, I just got out of the gang, but I'm a little nervous that there might be retaliation. Do y'all have some type of program that they can go to, you know, away from that type of environment? You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're afraid of retaliation from gang members, being that they're just getting out of the gang environment and they're home now. Do y'all have some type of program whereas they can kind of like relocate or something of that nature to get them away from that environment?
No, unfortunately, we don't have any programs that would relocate like a witness protection program or
Correct,
something.
something like that. Yes,
No,
sir.
yeah, we don't have that. That's why on the front part, we want to talk to our youth and try to provide positive activities, positive things for our youth to do. So first off, they won't get involved with gangs. If they do get involved with gangs here in Charlotte, and I'm only speaking for the Charlotte area, so far we've been able to help over 130 youth to disassociate with gang activity. First off, the youth have to want to do it. We can't make them disassociate. They have to want to do it. And if they want to do it, we assist them with existing community resources. We have a lot of resources here in Charlotte that we partnership with. For example, say if a young man like to fight, and he might join a gang to fight,
Sure.
and he decide that he's tired of this gang life. Say he in that gang, he didn't really commit any serious crimes, rape, murder, for that gang. Maybe some minor stuff. Well, that would make his chances of getting out of that gang easier by this association. Well, let's get this man involved with the boxing academy.
Okay.
It could be a matter, well, let's work with this family and relocate this family from one side of town to another side of town, because maybe the gang influence that he's involved with is on that side of town. Or maybe with the school, work a close partnership with our Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. Sometimes we have gotten together and locate a child from one school to another school to get them away from that influence.
Okay, we're going to stop right there and take another break, and we'll be back with Second Chance. Thank you.
I'm against gangs. What about you?
Do you want to worry about who a gang member is going to shoot?
Or about your children being shot because a gang member got shot and somebody mistaked it for you?
I'm against gangs. What about you?
I don't like gangs, that much is true.
But I'm speaking out against gangs because I want to.
I don't want anybody to get harmed.
So much damage that a gang can do.
I'm
against gangs.
What about
you?
Gangs and truancy, well, you rarely meet a gang member who was not truant first. And so truancy, a pre-gang indicator, is not only a concern for Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, but also for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department and for Gang of One as well.
Welcome back to Second Chance, where my guest will be from the Gang of One, Ms. Whiteside and Mr. Frazier. Jackson, apologize for that. Oh. Okay, we're showing some PSA of your program. What basically are those PSA, public service announcements?
Yes, we recently finished the project Stand Up and Speak Out Against Gangs and Truancy, and that was a collaboration between Time Warner Cable, Gang of One CMPD, Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Systems, and Mecklenburg County Park and Rec. And what we did is provided a contest for CMS middle school and high school students to create the idea for a public service announcement urging other students to stay away from gangs and to stay in school. And we find that a lot of times that youth, they need to hear the message from adults, but they also can hear the message from other youth. And so what you are seeing are the winners of that contest had their public service announcements produced by Time Warner Cable. And so what you are seeing are the fruits of their labors, and hopefully some messages for other youth to stay in school, to stay away from gangs, and what the potential impact on their lives can be if they do not finish school or are gang involved.
How does the work of Gang of One help our youth in our community?
Well, I think the work of Gang One help youth, not only does it help the youth, I think it helped the community as a whole, because it's all about partnership. Everybody working towards one common goal: faith community, business community, law enforcement. Everybody working together, working from the same page to try to reach our youth and provide things for our youth to do, such as that PSN commercial, that was business, Time Warner.
Correct.
Working together, with our youth. And since peer pressure is one of the leading things that causes our kids to join gangs. Okay, well, let's get youth to use that peer pressure in a positive way. Instead of saying, come and join my gang, let's have youth telling other youth, go to school, don't join gangs. And I think on the long run, if we continue to work together for that common goal, we will see some demonstrable results.
Okay, I was looking at your website, and you stated that approximately 37% of reported gang members are under the age of 18. Why is this such an important information for our viewers to be aware of?
Well, if you look at the age, under 18, I mean, you in the state of North Carolina, you are considered a child until you are 18. So 37%, in my opinion, of anything is a very large number. Our community should wake up and look at that figure and start to doing things so we can lower that 37%. In my opinion, one child life is too many.
Correct.
So 37%, in my opinion, that's a very big number. And we need to work together as one to identify resources and ways where our kids do not have to turn to gangs to be happy.
Where do you see Gang of One 1 year from now?
I think 1 year from now we'll have our continue to do a lot of the education and intervention programs that we've started. We will have been running our gang reentry and intervention team for hopefully by that time about a year, and continuing to hopefully see us impact, as Mr. Jackson talked about before, more and more kids being able to disassociate from gangs and prevent youth from becoming involved in gangs at the first.
Okay, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. Second chance, and hopefully you get back again and talk to more about the Gang of One. Viewing audience, this show is for you. I'd like you to join my website, www.secondchanceorganizations.com. Come on every Thursday at 5:30. I'd like to thank God for making all this possible. All my Access 21 family members. And you have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. This week, our guest will be Ms. Kim Melton from the Hospitality House of Charlotte. Thank you.